let's play a little game of try and build a bike before it starts raining, because it's due to rain in an hour and a half. Although it's kind of raining now.
So by the time you've actually seen this video, I will be either on the way or in Wales. I'm going to spend a couple of weeks there with my family, and we're going to go do some cycling, some walking, maybe hit the beaches. I don't know, stuff. I've got loads of bikes. I can literally go to the shed and choose any bike, but I wanted to build something that was going to be perfect for the type of riding and the things we need to do. So not only does it need to be unbelievably cool, it needs to have some knobbly tyres, some mud guards, because it has rained a lot the last few days, and it's going to rain in Wales because it's Wales. And the rest of it, just stuff. And then the rest of it is just kind of the normal stuff we'd usually put on our bikes. The other thing I needed to consider was the fact that I'm planning on towing my son on it. I've bought one of those like bars you put on the back, and then his bike can go on the back, and then I can just tow him along and stuff. So it just, yeah, that's the main thing. That's the main reason I had mud guards, to be fair. I don't want to spray it with water. So that was kind of what I need to consider, and I went to the shed and started picking out some bits. This is very much a parts bin build, which is kind of my favourite thing to do in the world. And what I have started doing is, as a lot of you know, I don't have lots of space, and I don't like letting go of my bikes. So instead of letting go of them, I tend to take bits off to kind of store them better. So I've kind of fell into something that I'm calling bike carcasses, and this is my current carcass that I'm going to use today. So this is my specialised Andes. I've had this for a while. It's one of my favourites that I've had because the geometry, the frame is kind of my go-to. It's a very nice size. So I pulled out the shed, grabbed some bits, and started building. So the thing that I started with was the fenders, and the main reason for this, because usually I just wait to the end and just smash them on then, was I didn't know if they were going to fit. This bike doesn't have mounts on both sides due to the disc conversion on the other side, and also the fact that I want to run really big tyres. Usually on bikes, the little bar that goes across next to those cranks, it's got a little bolt hole there, so you can screw the fenders into there. This doesn't have that, but it does have a little bolt on the back, on the down tube, or the seat tube, sorry. I don't know what that would have been used for. Maybe for this, but it doesn't look right, and you'll see when we see from the side, like it stretches out, but it's going to hold it, so we're still just going to go with it. So you can see on this side there is an eyelet, so I can screw the fender in here, or like the bar for it, but on the other side it doesn't have that, so I had to get smart. And smart I did. I basically used one of the bolts from the disc brake mount and basically screwed it on there, and it's near enough in the exact same spot, like very nearly, and it's still sturdy, everything, nothing moves, everything's fine. So ta-da! This is the coffee rack from Edson. It's the same people that make this fork, and it is bloody awesome. I really like it. So I wanted to put it back on the fork because it looks good and it will just come in handy for the trip, I'm sure. Problem I had, once I got it on, I've discovered that the eyelets on the bottom of the forks, the bolt is bigger than a normal like M5 or M6, M5, you know, the bottle cage bolts. So I don't have bolts to put the fenders down there, so I'm going to have to put them up here instead. Only problem is this will pull the fender in a little bit and probably not give enough room for the wheel, so let's get the wheels on and see if they fit. I've been collecting rims and hubs recently. I've got some very tasty ones coming, but Yuda over at Stayer Cycles was nice enough to stick them together for me because it's just not something in my skill set yet, but maybe one day. She did say she'll teach me, so there's a video. As you can see, there's not enough room in there. So after a lot of tweaking later, they did start spinning freely, all on their own. I mean, not on their own, I'd spent me ages tweaking the mudguard, didn't it? Arguably that's not perfect, but yeah, it's fine. The front one was essentially the same thing, needed a big tweak around and bend of the bars, but eventually I did get it spinning nice. Well, eventually. So I'm going to move these pedals onto the purple cranks, or black cranks with purple chainring, but then I thought maybe I should put this chainring on. I put it to a vote on my Instagram story and you all said the purple, like 83%, so good, I'm glad we're all on the same page. The thing that was strange though is the fact that I had like 12, 13 people, maybe more, message me saying it's a yellow chainring, not a green one. It's not, it's green. That's it. It's green. Well, I made a meal out of that, didn't I? That sticker there is part of my bootleg sticker pack, which is these guys. Very proud of this one. This one's very cool. I ordered an absolute ton of these, because usually I order like 20, 30, and they sell out in a few hours, and I'm like, ugh, sorry. Got loads and loads. So at the time of making this video, they are still available, and you can collect them up on spray.bike.com. If they are not there, I probably will reorder some because these have been quite popular so far and I really like them, and I've only had a couple for myself and I want some more, so I probably will order some more. But don't hang around. If you fancy some, head there, go and pick some up. It helps me out a bunch. I don't think I probably need to say this, but I'm using the same derailleur as I always use. So this is an Advent X. I couldn't tell you what this bike, or what bike this was on. I found it in a box, and it is crusty, but it works perfectly fine still. And I wanted something that I could rely on, and these you can. So I'm running some Tektros calipers on the discs. I can't remember what brand or which model they are, but we are going to use these Dior levers as well. They should work very well together. There's nothing else to say about it. I'm not going to say what these are either. You can comment below what grips I'm running. You all should know by now, they're always the same. When I was at Brother in the Wild, and I feel really bad about this because I can't remember their names, someone came up to me and said, I've got something for you, and they ran off and came back with this saddle, and it is the crustiest looking charged spoon I've had in a while. I've got a couple that look similar to this, but like this is nice. It's come out really nice. So thank you very much. I'm really sorry, I completely forgot the dude's name. He's really nice. He gave me some coffee as well. He's a really nice dude. Now, in a slight moment of madness, I decided I kind of wanted to change the space offs on here, so I put some silver ones on there, and they looked weird. I didn't like them at all, so I very quickly took them off again. Now, being a man of the internet, well, no, that sounded weird. My point is, I take a lot of video and photos whilst I'm out and about. I've got a little section for my Garmin, but I don't have anywhere for my phone. So I actually reached out to Quadlock a few weeks back and told them about a few trips I had planned, and asked if they wanted to send me some out, and they said, yeah, sure. This thing is super cool because it goes up on your stem, and it's out of the way, but it's also not like attached to anything. I quite like something similar for my Garmin as well, so it's not like just on the bar. It gives me more room for like bags and stuff, but this is super cool, so thanks very much for Quadlock for sending it to me. Time for a chain, don't you think? I actually had this knocking around. I've got tons of 10-speed chains from different things, and I'm pretty sure I had one that's perfect length for this frame, but I had a brand new one in the box and I couldn't find an old one. I say an old one, just a little bit used, so I got a new one out. I do clean my chains before I use them, the new ones this is, because they've got that sticky factory grease on, and it's just gross, so I clean that off. Something I like to do before I put any cables on is check the limit screws to make sure they're in the right place. As soon as you get cables on, you can't really test it properly and it gets all over the place, so do this first. And it's all set up really, because I'm pretty sure this came off this bike. Now it's pretty much the last job now, which is all the cabling. This took a long time just because it's a bit fiddly sometimes. This bike, obviously the routing isn't correct because the disc tab modification on the frame. So I just zip tie the cables to it. Most people hate that, but like I think it's fine. So yes, but it takes a long time. Once it was all done, it was just a case of tidying up the cables, and I did find these little cable cherries, I think that's what you call them. They are blue, the frame's blue, so it kind of works, but yeah, pretty cool. And the very last thing was just going through the gears and make sure they were shifting well. Admittedly, I gave up on this and actually finished it the next day because it started raining. And that's that, simple as that. We're done, and it was pretty uneventful. It was easy, everything worked. I did have, like I mentioned, I did give up on the derailleur. I was really tired and I knew it was about to rain and I was just rushing and I started messing about with it and stuff. And then I've said this before, sometimes it's best just stop, walk away and come back to it. And I literally, this morning was like, took 5 seconds, just go do, and it was just shifting like perfect. So there's that. The one other thing that I did do, which I didn't film because it was boring, is that I mentioned the bar that I'm attaching between my bike and my son's bike. It had a slight bit of assembly, but it just attaches the bikes together. See what I mean? Very boring. So let's go and see the build and my son's bike attached to it, because that's the whole package. And that's that, and I've got to say, I'm pretty chuffed with it. I basically took it around the block a few times without my son so far, just to see how it feels. So anybody who's ever wondered, it's pretty good. I'm going to do a video whilst I'm away about kind of like family riding, if you like. So I'll test it out a bit more and I'll come back with some answers if you do have questions on it. But if you do have questions, maybe put them below so I can test it out and let you know in the next video. But it feels nice. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun and I can get a lot of miles in with my son, and my daughter's gonna be on my wife's bike, so Sick. The only thing on the actual build itself that I'm not like 100% on is the actual handlebars. I love the Coyotes, I use them on a lot of my bikes, but it's the height. I've been running the Buzzards, which are very similar kind of geo to the Coyotes, but they've got a little bit of rise in them, and I've been very enjoying the comfort that they have. So I might get another pair of Buzzards, basically, stick those on, lift it up a bit more, and I think it'll just be like sitting in an armchair, just ride around, which is very good. We like a comfy bike. Now, I think that's that. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for watching and sticking around this long. And if you're not a subscriber yet to the channel, it's the best time to do it. You can click this button here and it helps me out a bunch. And if you can't wait till the next video, that one there is a particularly good one.